Nini everyone, Zabora here. So I was watching a YouTuber and just like strolling through the comments just because that's what I do. And the YouTuber was once again like laying into Wicca. And like, I'm not mad at the person. It's just getting a little old and repetitive. If you hate Wicca that much, then get the fuck out of it. Stop using the Sabbat, stop casting circle, stop identifying with Wiccan tools, stop it. Because you're not performing Wicca, you're saying how bad it is, and then you tell people to go ahead and do it anyway. Just stop. There's other magic systems out there. And that's kind of the point of this video. Somebody had asked, like, how does one go about forming their own magic path? And as someone who's done that, I thought I could give you a little advice on it. The thing that helped me the most when it came to forming my own path was actually writing. I began to write down things that I identified with, things I didn't identify with, and why. And that, helped me explore me a little bit better. So, for instance, let's say chocolate. Okay, this was actually a pen that I was using for Tahuti, but it broke. So, let's say that this is chocolate here, okay? Chocolate is linked with love because it's sweet and it's something you give your sweetheart and it's a stimulant. So all of those things link chocolate with love. It's something that's been ingrained in Americans to give chocolate to your lover on Valentine's Day. So chocolate in spell work would be love related. Maybe you want to stimulate love. So I could break off a piece of a Hershey's bar or something, throw it in a magical working, and call it a day. That's one of the ways you go about self-exploring. You think, what does this inspire in me? Okay, why? Then you start thinking about experiences you've had, you start thinking about things people have told you, and you come to understand this ingredient. If I had a cinnamon stick is a really good example. Cinnamon sticks in hoodoo are linked with love and money. Both. They're not separate. In the European traditions, cinnamon is associated with fire and protection. Okay, completely different. So explore the two. Why do you think this one's associated with love, but this one's with fire? And can you rationalize the two together? So that's a really big part of forming your own path. You have to self-explore. Know thyself was above the Oracle at Delphi for a reason. Another thing that I would say would be, if you're disillusioned with a path, don't stick with that path. If you don't like a framework, find another framework. Like, I myself use the Eru, which is what I use for opening my rituals and doing spell work. I perform my offerings for deities and light my candles and incense and set the mood, and then I do my ritual or spell work or whatever. I have a certain framework that I follow. It's not Wiccan. I'm not a Wiccan, so I don't use Wiccan ideas. I'm not a Wiccan, I don't use Wiccan Sabbats. So if you're not Wiccan or you don't like Wicca, why do you? So it's one of those things that you're just going to have to explore. And you're gonna have to find out what resonates with you. This is your path, your tradition, your magical forging. Don't use stuff that doesn't resonate with you. That's the whole point of this. So my next piece of advice would be to look at other systems. The best place to start would be your ancestry, in my opinion. So I myself am mostly Irish. So if I were to look at my ancestors and my family history, I would go back to Ireland and look at the deities they practiced and the way they worshipped and things like that. I did that. I didn't identify with that. I wish I did. The Irish culture, awesome. but it's not for me. So then I started examining things that I really liked about my practice. I really liked witchcraft. And I started learning that in Wicca, there was actually quite a few things that were incorporated in the 101 books from Hoodoo. A perfect example of this is actually, I think I still have it, Raymond Buckland's Candle Magic book. He actually had the Psalms listed in his Candle Magic. And I was like, why in the fuck would a Wiccan go and incorporate Bible magic? So then I started looking into Bible magic, which led to Hoodoo. And I was like, bing, found my system. I love Hoodoo. That's for me. So then it was like, okay, African elements, and I began looking at more Africa and stuff, and then it triggered a memory of being a child and being obsessed with ancient Egypt. And I remember being like in middle school and writing hieroglyphs and stuff, and writing lists out in hieroglyphs. And I just remember feeling all the love and everything that I loved about ancient Egypt as a kid, and I started looking into that, and bing, found my magic system. Found the system that I could operate in, and then that led me on a spiritual journey, and I was eventually able to find Kemetic Reform and the group that I'm currently a part of, and it's been a wonderful few years with you guys. So it really is self-exploration. You have to sometimes just take a thread and run with it. Now, I'm not a Christian. I don't identify with Bible magic and stuff like that. But there was a lot of stuff in there that resonated in Egyptian paganism. Like, I found a lot in Egyptian paganism that I had known as a child from the Bible. So it was kind of funny the way that they connected. And then, the more I learned about ancient Egypt, the more I learned that is, she's the mother of magicians, and Egypt had a massive influence over just about everybody that they encountered, to the point where other cultures started adopting their gods. I think Isis, whatever you want to call her, she made it all the way to France. And then the Greeks, they took a bunch of deities and that created the Hermetic Order, and blah, 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 just kept going. And then you got a new tradition. So, as someone who is seeking to learn a magical path, a new magical path, or forge their own, it all comes down to you, what you identify with, and how much work you're willing to put into it. This is about you, so it's all on you. You got to do it yourself. No one's going to be able to sit here and just spoon feed you info. So yeah, that would basically be my advice for when it comes to forging your own magical path. It's going to take some time. Write things down. Look to your ancestors. Ask your friends. Find what resonates with you. Read everything that you can find. And take everything with a grain of salt. That's it for tonight, guys. Sanapte.